This is Coyote News.
USD's football announcer John Thayer has been with the team for many years. KYOT's Tommy Warden spoke with Thayer about this year's Coyote-Jackrabbit matchup.
Thank you, Sierra. I'm here in the Freedom Forum with John Thayer. John, in the game coming up this weekend, we've got two teams that have played exceptional defense all year. Do you think that's something that's going to come into a factor as the game gets down to the wire?
Well, I think it's, one of those things that's the old cliche, defense wins championships, right? And South Dakota's defense has gotten significantly better. And South Dakota State has built its defense over the last few years. So I think it's going to be important. I think it's going to be important throughout the entire game, not just towards the end, but definitely as the game progresses. If it stays in a tight one like we think it can, then defense is key. It was the key the last time that South Dakota and South Dakota State played. Isaiah McDaniels kind of burst out of the scene, forced a couple of fumbles, and that was the difference in the game. So defense has to be really good.
Yeah, as you look at the stats, both teams only giving up 17 points a game. I think it'll be a key factor. There's a lot of guys that you look at on the South Dakota and South Dakota State defense. Who do you think are a couple guys that maybe stand out for South Dakota?
I think when you look at South Dakota, obviously it starts with Jack Cochran, the senior linebacker. He's been incredible. He's not only a good football player, but he just knows how to line up everybody defensively. And you'll see him throughout games adjusting the defensive line and some of the other guys in coverage, and I think he's been really, really good. Another guy that I think has been really good in just his veteran leadership is Elijah Reed in the secondary. We've seen a lot out of him throughout the course of the year, and he's one of those guys that can kind of quarterback the defense as well. And then you have to mention guys like Jake Matthew and Nick Gaze on the defensive line. Jake's been incredible. I think he has 6 sacks on the season. He's led South Dakota in sacks the last couple of years. Nick Gaze also has 6 sacks on the year. Those two together have really been disruptive.
And then for the South Dakota defense, you've got Adam Bach, Isaiah Stallbird. Adam has 74 tackles on the year right now. He's kind of a key to that South Dakota State defense, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, he's been huge, and they like to lean on Logan Backus as well. He's kind of their senior linebacker. He's the Jack Cochran that we have. That's what Logan Backus is for them. And then you have to remember they got Don Gardner back, I think, last week as well. A transfer who came in a couple of years ago. He's been good in the secondary at the safety position. He's missed a lot of the season, but he came back last week, and I think that's been really key to their defense and the success they had against North Dakota State.
And then to kind of flip off that, the offense of South Dakota State, very high-powered. They have a good running game in Pierre Strong. They have Jaden Yonke. They have Amar Johnson. They're just a really strong offense. Do you think that the high-poweredness of their offense is going to be something that South Dakota is going to have to try to stand up to and maybe key on those Jack Cochran, those guys to step up in their defense?
Yeah, I think it starts with trying to slow down the run. And you mentioned Pierce Strong Jr. He's been just fantastic in his career, came onto the scene a couple of years ago. It'll be interesting. Isaiah Davis is another one. They were kind of the 1-2 punch early in the season, and then Isaiah Davis went down with an injury. He's been out ever since, but he did start practicing last week, did not play in their last week's game, but I expect him to play in this game. I think they'll get back to that 1-2 punch with Isaiah Davis and Pierce Strong Jr., and that's important for them to try to keep the pressure off of their quarterback, Chris Oladokin, but South Dakota is going to have its hands full trying to slow down the run game.
Yeah, but with coming with that run game, they have, like I said, the pass game is just very good for them as well. They have Tucker Kraft, they have Jackson Yonke, they have Jaden Yonke. Jaden Yonke hasn't touched the ball a lot, but he still scores when he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah, the Yonke boys, Jaden and Jackson, are both just tremendous athletes from Madison, South Dakota, and they've shown their big playability throughout the course of their career. And then you mix in guys like Tyler Feldkamp, another South Dakota player, and you mentioned Tucker Kraft. He gets involved a lot. They've got weapons all over the field. That's why they've been a team over the last several years that continue to go to the semifinals, and last spring went to the national championship game and lost a close one to Sam Houston State. But when you look at South Dakota State, they just built themselves with a lot of playmakers, and they continue to reload year after year.
In the Freedom Forum for KYOT, I'm Tommy Warden.
Thanks, Tommy. KYOT contacted SDSU for their take on the game, but they did not respond.